In the last video, we talked about pipelines and stages, right? And we went on as far as creating a new custom object which we called lead. And you can see on the screen right here, we have these right now. And in this section, we want to do something such that when a lead is created, an object of a lead, we go ahead and create a new deal. Right now, for all these view, would simply do not have any deal at the moment, right? So we're going to create a deal based on the information that we already have from the leads that has been created. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. Then we're going to view it side by side. All right. So now we are going to assume that whenever a lead is created, at first it's more like a deal, but it's a deal in the lead stage, just like we can see in the Kanban view now. So we'll take a close look at what we have here. So when I move over to leads, from leads to the pipeline, which happens to be a Kanban view, we have a lead. And to go further, we have to create a many to one relationship with the these, and we can also do that with the leads as well. But let's get started with this. So we are going to click on this, and we want to simply edit the attribute. We want to create a new attribute, and we are simply going to call this attribute. It's going to be like a record, right? We will have a one-to-one relationship in this scenario, but just to keep things straight, I don't want a lead simply being directed to a deal. I don't want a deal feed in the lead. So what we are going to have is a simple record. And for this record, we are going to call it lead, right? And for the description, so the lead is associated with the created deal. So we have a couple of objects that we've created. Now we're looking at a different type of a different type when it comes to creating attribute, and this is record, and it differs from a relationship in a way because there's no back and forth kind of connection. So right now we are going to have lead, and let's see the default value. Okay, so we have this new lead, but we don't want that as a default value. So the constraint is that it cannot have multiple values. It's going to be a one value. So every deal will have just a single lead and nothing more. And there's no back and forth relationship in this scenario because we are making use of a record. So simply go ahead and create this attribute. Now that we've created the attribute, we want to move back to our dashboard, and over to these, we're going to create our first deal, right? So I'll click on new deal, and by default, deal already has the stages or the status of lead. I'll close this, in progress, won, and lost, right? So having consulted, or let's assume that that specific lead is open, we can just simply use lead. And if the lead is not, is more like qualified, we can be in progress. And if it is unqualified, we simply just say, well, this deal is lost because the underlying lead, the record object associated with the lead, is unqualified. So we are going to go ahead and create a new deal. And just to keep things very simple, we're going to call this deal name Aaron Curly deal, right? And for the D stage, it's going to be based on what we have for our leads. I said I'm going to be putting this side by side. So let's have it right here. All right. So okay, and this for our leads, and currently it's qualified, so we want to say in progress but not yet won. I want to set a value for the deal owner. So the deal owner is going to be like a user, so I'm going to select this specific user that we have. And for the deal value, we're going to say this should be like a 30,000 deal. And for associated people, we're going to search for Aaron Coley, right? So because it's simply associated with the lead, but this deal owner is simply the owner of the account. And then we'll go ahead and create our record. Remember that records are like instance of our blueprint, which is the object. So create the record, and yes, we have this now, right? And this deal happens to be in progress simply because our status right here is qualified, and it has not yet been updated to like the one stage. Now when this lead is successful or won, let's take a look at the lead pipeline right here. So if I'm to move this from qualified to converted, right? It's going to get updated. And if I'm to view the leads table in place of the pipeline, we can see that's converted. And by default, this should be automatic. This should run automatically. So whenever we change our lead from a particular stage, our deal in question should be updated in the pipeline, right? The status of our deal. Like in this scenario, we already won or we already converted that lead, so we can simply move from in progress. Right? We can simply move from in progress, right? Let's change it and see, and we'll put it on the one aspect because it has successfully been converted. And in the case where it's unqualified or lost, or the lead is lost, yes, we change our deal instance to lost. Right, so that's that. But in most cases, what most of our clients really do is they just have a lead, and it doesn't create a deal at first, but when that lead converts, then automatically a deal is created from that lead. So at first there is no record or no relationship or a point or an attribute of the deal that is pointing to the lead. So that is that on the pipeline flow. And yeah, we can move on to the next, which happens to be a list, right? So a list is the way you group a couple of items together. I'll show you an example. Now let's take a close look at people. Our people records is quite a lot. And from what we can see connection strength. We'll see weak, very strong, weak, good. We'll see very weak. There's good also. And I think there should be, I think we just have about 4 options. Weak, very strong, good. Okay, it's just weak, very strong, and good. And we also have very weak. And we should have strong somewhere. I don't know. But let's check the filter and see. Connection strength, sort ascending. Okay, sort descending. So we have very strong, we have good, we have weak, and the rest of them is very weak. Now for a list, we can have a list where we have weak contact. We can simply call this list weak contact. Okay, right here is not what we're going to do. We're simply going to start from scratch, and it should be a list of people. It should be a new list, and we don't want to call this new list. We're going to call them weak contact. All right. Or simply go ahead and create this list. So it's a way you can group a set of records. So right now we want to make use of a table as our default view, and we will call this table view for our list. I will call it we can still call it weak contact, or we can see contact that needs reviving, more like a revival scenario. So we simply click on confirm, right? So we're going to have a couple of persons that we can add here to this list, and these persons will simply be persons with the contact as weak, right? So right now what we have here is not something, okay, it's something that is very visible. So we can see we have the green. It implies that this is not a weak contact. We have good, and right here we can see all of the other ones are simply red. So we can simply click on this and we can simply add to list, right? Now we go further to add the column connection strength. You can see it's weak. So that is how you can simply group or have a list of some specific record, right? So let's go ahead and create a new list. We're going to call this list strong contact. We're going to start from scratch, and it's going to be a list of people as well. We can simply call it strong contact, right? It's going to consist of both good and very strong, and we want a table view. We simply call this contacted recently. So we are going to confirm this, and then we simply add a couple of persons to this list. So we have Ashley, and we simply add the list, right? We add the list. We go again. We add the column. Sorry. No, not here. We had person, and we want to add Matthew. Simply add the list. And finally, we add the last person with a connection strength of good, which happens to be column in this scenario. And then we add the list, right? And you can see that our weak contact is presented in a different way because we've had the connection strength column, And in the case of the strong contact list, we haven't really added that. And this is a way you can differentiate based on statuses or based on specific property. Let's assume you have clients that are paying a huge sum of amount for a specific project of yours or specific service of yours. You can group them, and if you have low tier or low paying clients, you can group them in a different section. So this is just how you do it. And don't forget, all of those flows can be automated. And if you want that to be done for your organization, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, stick around. We are going to be showing you step by step on how to create workflows as such. Now, it's going to be a good practice for some hands-on learning. So you can go ahead and add a couple of columns, right? You can create a list as you see fit. You can do it for company. List is pretty much simple to create. You just click on this, and then you want to start from scratch, and you want to specify the specific object you are creating a list for, right? And we can even go as far as setting permissions for this list. So an admin can see all of pretty much everything on our dashboard, but someone who is like a service manager or like a content creation expert or a consultant would be restricted to some specific views. And we can do all of that, and we're going to see all of that when we get to the permission section of the series. All right. Now, what I will see list, we'll be looking at workflows in the next section. And until the next, peace out and keep being your best self.